Okay, so I wanted to do a quick market update because I think we've done some significant things recently, and I just want to briefly touch on them. So I think we've been talking about the fact that the dollar is into this monthly resistance zone, and I was expecting pullbacks on the first attempt, and that's essentially what we're getting right now. So last week we SFP'd into it. We broke market structure on the 12-hour, and for now things are just cooling off. I think you saw some actual like macro stuff come out relating to why this is puking. You had different banks jumping in and selling dollars. So how low this goes, I'm not sure, but this is definitely an area of interest that I would want to see held. Otherwise, we continue to go lower on the dollar. Now, if you're bullish risk assets, obviously you just want this to continue going lower. But I'm not really expecting a total dump right now. We're getting some relief. I think after the run that it's had, it's sort of logical to test this bullish order block on the weekly before continuing higher. So for me, that's all it's done. It did the same thing back here before continuing. So to me, this is just a continuation test. I don't really expect the dollar to puke here, which means I also don't really expect equities to continue their upward movement too much. So if we look at equities, what we had that I was paying attention to last week and then early this week is you have this monthly breaker, which we closed below. You also had this one, it's two combined, that I was looking at. I'll just make those different colors so you can see. And I was looking for it to test a little bit lower before reversing. I thought it was actually going to come into this level, but it didn't. So what that looked like on the daily is we obviously closed monthly lower, weekly lower, and then we tagged this order block and launched straight up. So that's what we've been doing for the first few days in October, is just launching off of this key monthly zone. Again, I think we'll probably tag lower into it, and I don't really think that's a full reversal zone for like back on bull market. I would be more interested in the zone related to the pre-COVID dump, but let's just wait and see what happens. So I'm going to get rid of this zone order block that we're in. So what I've been looking for on the S&P, first of all, I wanted to see it tag into this order block. I wanted to see it come lower, but it's fine, tagged into it. We put through a little bit of bullish divergence. That's not enough to get me in a trade. What I did want to see is the market structure break bullishly, which it did yesterday. So that's been broken. I was looking for longs down into this region. So I took a small one this morning. I took one once we actually put in this 12-hour candle, and took some off at this order block. So not a bad trade, but what I'm really looking for a sizable move is I want to see us tag this 12-hour breaker before pushing higher. So in my mind, we've swept these lows. We've swept all of the 2022 lows. We're tagging off of this order block. It makes sense to me to try and sweep some highs. So to me, the obvious draw is this area up here, this fair value gap area, because it clears out all of these highs. You have a set of equal highs here, reasonably close highs here. What we're doing right now is we're putting in another set of equal highs that could get run. So what I'm more looking for is like a test down into here, come back up, flip stuff, and up into the fair value gap. That's what I am anticipating. How I'm positioning for that is pretty much just waiting at the moment. I don't like how this daily candle is shaping up. To me, that's a reversal sign, which is fine because it plays into what I'm looking for, which is a pullback to reload some longs into higher. So I think at the very least, we tag into this region. But all we're doing right now is just struggling with this prior sort of like range low area, which is fine. That's to be expected. So I highlighted the 12-hour breaker. If we don't pull back that far, the other thing I'm looking for is this daily breaker as well. So either of those zones are ones that I'm going to be monitoring if we come into them for long. So today we basically tagged perfectly into the daily. Sort of got like a false swing higher. To me, it's just sweeping these highs. It's adding some equal highs to the mix. I'm fully expecting us to tag down lower into this, break market structure before moving higher. So today I took, I actually don't think I took any trades on S&P. Oh, no, I did. I loaded some calls once we tagged in this daily and put in this candle. So I was definitely late to the trade. And I got out before we swept these highs. Just, I thought we were going to dump it. I was going to be away from my computer towards the close. So I got up somewhere in this last candle around like 2:30 or so. So it was a fine trade, but I'm not comfortable holding along up into here right now. I think that we're going to tag lower before continuing, but we'll just have to wait and see. So similar. Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to point out. So the reason I'm looking for this structure that I mentioned, which is essentially the following. Let's just simplify this. So I'm essentially looking for the impulse up, which we got. I'm looking for a tag down into the breaker. And then I'm looking for higher. That bullish order block, number one, this fair value gap, number two. And the reason I'm looking for that, one, you have the bullish market structure break. You have bullish divergence coming into a key monthly zone. Market structure break to the upside, to me, it makes sense. Impulse, test back down, continue onward. We saw this back in June, I believe. Yep. So right in here, you had your daily bullish breaker candle. You had a market structure break here, and this happens over and over in markets. It happens all the time. Broke up. We came back. We tested it. We never closed below it. We SFP'd all these equal lows and then carried on. So you had a few options to get long in here. And what we did here was we chased this whole fair value gap zone. We chased these equal highs, and then reversed. Okay, so we don't have as clean of equal highs this go around that are blatantly obvious draws. And it is a lot to ask for, another 5% move. But to me, I think we at least test this bullish order block. I would like to see us fill in some of this fair value gap, same way we did here. We filled in a little bit more in this one. We haven't filled in more of this, but I think some of them are just going to have to be left as they are. So looking for, a similar fractal as we saw back here, which was the impulse, retest, clearing higher. NASDAQ has a very similar setup, so I don't really see the need to cover that. It is looking like it's going to me, this looks like it's going to just want to test lower. Like that's not a strong follow-up candle to this one. It's fine to cool off though. Bitcoin has been following everything else, albeit weaker. So today we didn't have as much follow through as the indexes. You can see it swept these highs. I'm still looking for a lower test on this as well. I don't know if we get all the way back down to, let's see, maybe here. This has been an important zone. We sort of just like screwed around with it. To me, the breaker play that you can look to test is this area, which plays nicely into this sort of this just like zone that we haven't been able to get above until recently, right? So I want to see us test down into that before going higher. And again, I want to see us fill in some of this area as well. I don't know if we get higher than that. So step one would be looking for longs down here for a sweep of these equal highs and then filling in some of the fair value gap area. We don't really have a clean breaker to me on the 12-hour. You could look at maybe this one. But really anything into this zone I think would be fine to start looking for longs. Hourly bullish PA, 30-minute bullish PA, whatever lower time frame you want to use. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the next few days. I think for now I'm out of all positions, but I am still bullish biased. I don't know how the dollar is going to do, but to me it makes sense to maybe get a relief bounce through here as equities sort of come down, test further into, at the very least, this daily breaker, or the one I really want is this 12-hour before putting in higher. So that's all I've got. Hope it was helpful, and I will talk to you soon.